San Francisco, once hailed as the epicenter of innovation, had become a city of striking contrasts. Skyscrapers lit with venture capital tower over sidewalks lined with sleeping bags. From tech glory to tent cities, the fall wasn't sudden, it was silent. The city now pours nearly $1 billion each year into fighting a crisis it still doesn't fully understand. And each day, more lives unravel, quietly, invisibly. This is the city of disruption, where apps were born to change the world, yet failed to shelter the people building it. A place where million-dollar IPOs were celebrated, just blocks from encampments no one dares to name. How does a place of such promise lose sight of its people? What dark forces keep this wound from healing? This is San Francisco, raw, unfiltered, and it demands your eyes. San Francisco, a city known for its 52 neighborhoods, world-changing startups, and progressive ideals, is also home to a reality it struggles to face. According to the 2022 point-in-time count, 7,754 people were recorded as homeless, and more than half of them had no shelter at all, not even a temporary one. Tents cluster along sidewalks. Sleeping bags appear beneath freeway ramps. In places like the Tenderloin, 1 in every 10 residents lives with the constant threat of eviction or displacement. But these images are not anomalies. They are symptoms of something much deeper, a slow erosion of belonging. In San Francisco, losing your home often means losing your place in the system. No address means no ID. No ID means no benefits. And no benefits means no help. From that moment on, every attempt to return becomes harder. You are no longer tracked. You are no longer called. You are no longer counted. The public response is fractured. Some citizens offer compassion. They donate food, volunteer, listen. Others push for enforcement, for the tents to be cleared, for the sidewalks to be reclaimed. But few ask what happens next. Because the truth is, when people are moved without being housed, they are not helped. They are only hidden. And in that hiding lies a deeper fear, that simply being visible while poor has become a punishable act. Sleeping on a bench draws a ticket. Resting in a car risks arrest. In the absence of shelter, survival becomes a violation. This is the reality for thousands in a city that produces billionaires. Not because they did something wrong, but because somewhere along the way, the system stopped making space for people like them. People who worked, paid rent, raised families. People who, not long ago, looked just like us, and perhaps still do. To understand why homelessness in San Francisco endures, we must look not just at the people who are unhoused, but at the structures that fail to keep them housed. San Francisco's housing market is among the most expensive in the country. The median home price hovers around $1.4 million, while rent for a modest one-bedroom often exceeds $3,500. For many residents, even working full-time doesn't cover the basics. The city has a limited supply of affordable housing. Just 6% of units are designated for low-income households. Long wait lists, rigid eligibility, and years of backlog make subsidized housing a distant hope, not a lifeline. But the crisis isn't driven by housing alone. The local economy thrives on gig work and industries with little job security. One emergency, a hospital bill, a family crisis, a layoff, can unravel everything. And when that happens, the fall is steep and fast. There is no buffer, no mechanism that says, this person did everything right, let's hold them up. Instead, people disappear. Without an address, they can't apply for jobs. Without ID, they can't access aid. The system doesn't register people once they've slipped outside its paperwork. There is no field on the form for used to belong. Health challenges often make things worse. Untreated mental illness or chronic conditions turn the daily logistics of survival into impossible tasks. But with only 12 community health centers serving the city's low-income population, care is more theory than practice. And so people fall, not because they are broken, but because no one was watching when the floor gave way. In San Francisco, the line between housed and unhoused is thinner than it looks. For thousands, stability rests on one variable they cannot control: a rent hike, a flu, a broken wrist. And when it happens, there is no one assigned to catch them. That is how homelessness persists here. Not through choices, but through silence. With an annual budget of $14 billion, San Francisco has poured significant resources into tackling homelessness. At the center of this effort is Housing First, a model that prioritizes stable housing as a foundation before addressing mental health, employment, or addiction. The idea is simple: without a home, progress cannot begin. The city's 15 navigation centers reflect this philosophy, offering flexible shelter that allows people to stay with partners, pets, and possessions, often the only things they have left. These centers serve more than 1,200 people annually, pairing temporary shelter with job assistance and legal support. Traditional shelters, housing about 2,000 people each night, continue to operate but are often seen as rigid, with curfews and limited privacy. During the pandemic, Project Room Key temporarily rented 2,500 hotel rooms to protect vulnerable individuals. Its successor, Project Home Key, has since converted 10 properties into nearly 800 permanent or transitional units. In parallel, Proposition C, funded by a tax on large businesses, brings in around $300 million each year to support housing and services. It's a landmark measure, but money alone doesn't ensure outcomes. Systems are built to serve categories, not individuals. A policy can fund a room, but it can't guarantee someone finds the door in time. A database may track available beds, but not the missed appointment, the expired wait list, or the form submitted too late. Programs exist, but for too many, help arrives as structure, not as someone who sees them. The homelessness crisis in San Francisco is often reduced to statistics, but behind every number is someone who once had a life like yours. A job, a home, routines, relationships. Today, many of them are former teachers, retail workers, veterans, and service employees. Some lost jobs, others fled unsafe homes. Many live with untreated mental health conditions or disabilities that make consistent work nearly impossible. They didn't choose to fall, they simply weren't caught. In a city where the median rent for a two-bedroom apartment exceeds $4,000, even full-time workers can end up in shelters. Some sleep in cars after long shifts. Others stay in public libraries until closing, then walk until dawn. Shelter options remain limited, both in number and accessibility. Strict curfews, bans on pets, and crowded conditions keep many away. For people already stripped of control, these rules can feel like another form of punishment. Navigation centers offer a more flexible alternative, and with roughly 70% occupancy, they are often a preferred choice. But demand outpaces availability, and waiting lists can stretch for weeks. Daily life on the streets is not static, it's exhausting. Finding a place to charge a phone, take a shower, or store your belongings safely becomes a full-time struggle. In a city with only 20 public restrooms per 100,000 residents, basic dignity is rationed. What's missing isn't just housing, it's recognition. The sense that someone sees you, that your name is still spoken, that your absence would matter. Because when society no longer makes room for you, you begin to disappear long before you're gone. In a city where 7,754 people live without homes, every individual carries traces of a life once lived. Remnants not measured in dollars or data, but in memory and meaning. They were chefs, teachers, security guards. They clocked in, paid rent, raised children. They were part of the city's 320,000-strong workforce until one event, illness, rent hike, family loss, unraveled everything. Now, with 3,900 median rents hanging overhead, what remains are fragments: a folded bus pass, a child's drawing, a locket held tight, each one a quiet refusal to forget. Around them, the city continues its rhythm. Tourists fill the streets, 26 million each year, capturing images of bridges and murals, unaware that a person once slept beneath that very frame. The scent from 1,300 eateries stirs memories of shared meals now out of reach. A torn ticket stub recalls a concert once danced to under the city's neon glow. The past lives on in flashes, soft, persistent, but growing faint. And yet these keepsakes matter. They tether people to a version of themselves the world no longer acknowledges. They are proof that someone existed, not just biologically, but socially. They held keys. They received mail. They were counted. Today, with only 11 public internet kiosks and few safe places to store anything, even the right to hold on to these fragments is under threat. And still they linger. Among the farmers' markets, bus stops, and fog-drenched hills, small memories drift, unclaimed but never meaningless. In San Francisco, where 20,000 evictions ripple through lives each year, countless individuals cling to fragments of a world they once knew. Former weavers, accountants, or poets, once vibrant within the city's 900 annual poetry readings, now grapple with $4,200 rents that erase what came before. A crumpled note, its edges soft with time, holds a farewell scribbled during a long-forgotten summer. The jingle of 200 ice cream cards, once part of weekend rituals, now stirs memories of laughter shared with a sibling, a sweetness too distant to touch. As 18% of retail jobs vanish to automation, lives are altered not by a fall, but by a fade. Some trace the edge of a worn bookmark, a token from evenings spent in one of the city's 300 bookstores, pages turned with quiet hope. Others keep a single cufflink tied to an interview that once held promise and then disappeared. Street Stories Homeless asks, how does a trinket guard a heart's history? With just 13 public restrooms across 49 square miles, daily needs compete with the fear of losing even these small pieces. A folded recipe, a pressed flower, a shell from a forgotten beach. Fragile, irreplaceable, and heavy with meaning. In a city that celebrates 5,000 annual fashion shows, these keepsakes do not catch the spotlight, but they carry a deeper thread. A torn glove once part of a pair, a faded concert wristband, a key with no lock. Each item becomes a soft, trembling defense against being forgotten. Within San Francisco's $16 billion cultural economy, these remnants, small, weathered, and often overlooked, stand as quiet testaments to lives that still dream inside the city's vast and glittering frame. San Francisco's homelessness crisis is severe, but not unique. Across the country, other cities face the same question. What happens when housing becomes a privilege, not a right? New York City, with over 8.4 million residents, has the largest homeless population in the U.S., estimated at 80,000. But thanks to its right to shelter mandate, 95% of them sleep indoors, in city-run shelters. Encampments are rare, yet the system strains under pressure, with a shelter budget nearing $2 billion and growing demands each winter. San Francisco, by contrast, has no such mandate. Here, over half of those without homes sleep unsheltered. The streets make it visible, but not necessarily seen. Los Angeles County, sprawling across 4,000 square miles, counts more than 60,000 homeless individuals, many clustered in areas like Skid Row. With only 4% of housing stock considered affordable and a decentralized government structure, outreach becomes fragmented and inconsistent. Visibility is high, but coordination is not. Seattle, with a population of about 750,000, shares many of San Francisco's challenges. The tech boom has driven up rents, with one-bedrooms averaging over $2,000. Since 2019, the city has seen a 30% rise in encampments, and with 40 inches of annual rainfall, conditions for the unsheltered grow harsher each winter. In all these cities, the root problem is the same. Housing costs rise, wages lag, federal support remains stagnant. Cities are left to innovate alone, to balance short-term shelter with long-term housing, enforcement with compassion, visibility with political will. But beyond statistics, there's something harder to measure. In some places, people are processed. In others, they're forgotten. San Francisco builds programs, But too often, it still loses track of the person. And when someone disappears from one block, we rarely ask, did they find a bed or just move to another shadow? San Francisco's homelessness crisis, affecting over 7,700 people, reflects more than economic strain. It reveals how easily someone can fall and how slowly systems respond. The foundation must be housing, but with only 3,000 new units built each year and demand far exceeding supply, access remains out of reach for many. Project Home Key has turned vacant hotels into 800 units, offering a glimpse of what's possible when urgency meets creativity. Still, scale remains small and time runs short. Policies like Housing First have proven effective, but housing alone isn't enough. People need wraparound services, mental health care, job training, legal support. These are not extras. They are the scaffolding of stability. Yet with just 10 public mental health clinics, help arrives too slowly, or not at all. Proposition C, funded by taxing the city's largest corporations, brings in $300 million annually. A powerful resource. But the question isn't whether the money exists. It's whether it reaches the people who no longer appear in systems, forms, or queues. This is a city that builds empires from innovation, yet struggles to provide shelter for those who help to build it. A place of $500 billion in tech value and 20,000 evictions a year. That tension is not just economic, it's moral. Change is possible, but it begins with a shift in perspective, from managing homelessness to refusing to look away, from programs that serve categories to efforts that see individuals. Thank you for being part of this journey. If this story moved you, please like, comment, and subscribe to Street Stories Homeless. Every interaction helps bring these lives into the light and keeps the conversation alive. Because the most powerful thing we can offer isn't just housing or policy or funding, it's attention. And attention is how people stop disappearing.